Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and knights around the realm, thank you for checking into the HeartBreak Hotel with yours truly, the Heartbreak Prince himself. We have to discuss Finn Balor and the Judgment Day. We have to discuss Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and the Favor. And we absolutely have to discuss Jey Uso's growth this week on Monday Night Raw. Listen, Knights, to start it off, just a little bit, we have to discuss Finn Balor and the Judgment Day, because Adam Pearce announced this week on Monday Night Raw that there will be a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship between Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and none other than Dirty Dom himself. That's right, Dirty Dom himself, thanks to Liv Morgan, has weaseled his way into a WrestleMania match for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, what I love about this storyline this week that became spicy was the fact that for weeks now, there has been this rift between Finn and Dirty Dom about the Judgment Day and the direction it should go, where Finn does not want another member in the Judgment Day and wants to bring gold back to the Judgment Day himself. And then you have Dirty Dom saying that, hey, I think the Judgment Day needs to spread its wings and invite another member into the Judgment Day. And he offered Penta a couple of weeks ago, and he was shot down by Finn Balor. And now this week, Finn learns that Dirty Dom himself is now involved in the Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania. And boy, did they share a back and forth for the ages. But I feel this has all of Mama's fixings in the mixing for Heartbreak right here. Because 2 weeks ago on the Exclusive Nights podcast, Mr. Exclusive himself called it and said that he believed that Dirty Dom would win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. And it is looking very much like this is the path they may take, because Finn Balor wrote the lyrics to his own downfall because he teased Dirty Dom about not being championship worthy, not having the ability to win the championship, just put Dirty Dom down. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for Dirty Dom in front of the world to kind of step out on his own and then to take control of the Judgment Day. I am so excited to see where this storyline leads. And even though I know for me, because we all know, I am in the corner of Finn Balor, but I feel like this is going to lead to heartbreak. But the story itself is so good right now that I am just happy to see, excited to see where they go with this. Because if Dirty Dom at WrestleMania could win the Intercontinental Championship, his first title, heck, his first major win since his time in the WWE, this story and the Judgment Day and where they go from there. I mean, listen, this can be cinema, absolute cinema. But to talk about something that was peak cinema, this man right here, Seth freaking Rollins. That's right. The architect himself, Seth freaking Rollins. Did he not cook this week on Raw? I mean, he came out and interrupted Paul Heyman in the middle of his spiel about this favor that he owes CM Punk. and Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, holding up the ones. And he's talking about how he's loyal and all of these other things. But the architect himself, Seth freaking Rollins, comes out and interferes. And it was so good because for a minute in this back and forth, I didn't know where Seth Rollins was going. I don't know if anyone knew where Seth Rollins was going. And he was coming off very heelish in his whole interaction with Paul Heyman. And he's kind of just like bantering back and forth with Paul Heyman about him and his loyalty and who he's going to be loyal to and all of these things. And then he starts kind of going down this path of like trying to find something that makes Paul Heyman tick. And so he's like, what is it going to take, Paul? And he shoves Paul. Crowd's like, ooh, and then he's like, so what? I mean, it's gonna be this. He rips his handkerchief out of his coat pocket, throws it in his face, and then he slaps Paul Heyman. And of course, none other than Paul Heyman's best friend, CM Punk, comes out and gets involved. And he has a back and forth, a physical confrontation with Seth Rollins in the ring. And Seth Rollins actually gets the best of CM Punk. But where this story just really becomes beautiful, really becomes amazing, really becomes gripping, is CM Punk is laying there in the middle of the ring. Paul Heyman doing Paul Heyman things with this look for a second week in a row. We get this type of look coming from Paul Heyman. And Seth Rollins has the ability to deliver a curb stomp to Paul Heyman. He runs up, jumps in the air, foot goes up right next to Paul Heyman's face, head, and neck area, but he stumps on the ground. He takes the mic that Paul Heyman has in his hand and he says, now you owe me a favor. Knights, we talk about storytelling. We talk about long-term storytelling. This is the stuff right here that really gets me invested, right? Because this is such a good story going into WrestleMania, where we got this thing between CM Punk and the tribal chief Roman Reigns, and you kind of trying to figure out like how does Seth Rollins fit into all of this? But every week he kind of more and more fits himself in this cog, in this machine, and it's just beautiful. And now it's like, okay, so now Paul Heyman owes Seth Rollins a favor. What could this favor be? And this is where I think the heartbreak is going to come in. I have a feeling that Paul Heyman is going to do something that is going to betray Roman Reigns and CM Punk at WrestleMania in favor of this man right here. The architect himself, the man that always seems to have the last laugh. And so I'm really looking forward to WrestleMania and seeing how this main event unfolds, because I mean, we talked about this and we said Seth Rollins feels like he needs this win more than Roman Reigns, more than CM Punk. He needs this. And when you have something like this extra factor added in when it comes to Paul Heyman being involved and really not knowing whose side is he really on. Is he on the tribal chief side? Is he with his best friend? Or is Paul Heyman going to do something that really just shocks and awes the crowd? And it's in favor of this man himself here, the architect. There's a reason we call him the architect. There's a reason he has that annoying laugh. And there's a reason why he is Seth freaking Rollins. And so I'm excited for this one, Knights. I cannot wait to see how this story unfolds. I cannot wait to see what favor Paul Heyman is asked by Seth Rollins and how that's going to influence the outcome of the match between CM Punk and the original, the only tribal chief throwing up the one. Roman Reigns himself. But to wrap this all up, something that was just so good, something that was just so sweet, something that was just too sweet. Got to do it, man. This guy right here. This guy right here. These two men right here, Jey Uso and Gunther. What I loved about this nights, because we always talk about storytelling and the importance of it, because we are big story driven people when it comes to the exclusive night. Mr. Exclusive, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Eric Knight, and myself. That's what gets us invested. It's the stories that go along with the matches that we are watching. And last week, we had just a brutal beatdown of Jey's brother, in the ring by Gunther. And this was just phenomenal heel work by Gunther. A1 caliber work here. And this story, the growth, because this is what happened. Jey's tied to the rope. He sees Gunther just decimate, destroy his brother Jimmy right in front of him in the middle of the ring. And there's nothing he can do about it. And to see them grow this story the following week, double down on it, just A1 sauce all day long. What I liked about this was it showed a side of Jey that, for me, I was wondering if it was there. Because, yeah, we have all of just the Yeetville, the Yeet, like just everything Yeet, okay? We have that, the hype, the energy, just all of that is there when it comes to Jey. He gets in the ring and he does his promos. Everything is Yeet. Everybody's going crazy. We know he is the guy. But when you're talking about taking on someone the caliber of this man right here, Gunther, at WrestleMania on the biggest stage, there has to be a certain dog in you. And Jey showed this week, I think, with his performance in that promo, just to kind of, refresh everyone's memory. He comes through the crowd, but he doesn't come out like the typical Jey Uso. He's not Yeet glasses and just crowd fans all around him, and he's got the crowd going Yeet, doing the Yeet thing. My boy Pat McAfee and Adam Cole standing up on the table, and they just all Yeeting and going crazy. There was something different about his approach this week, and he came to the ring. It was very serious. It was very dark. It was very like low, just the energy level, everything. And you could just tell he was fighting with something inside of him. And he kind of talked about it. He addressed it when he talked to Gunther, and he said, Gunther, do you talk to your mom? And he told this story about the conversation he had to have with his mom after Gunther did this to his brother in the middle of the ring. And it just set a tone, this eerie tone, this seriousness that was in his voice, that this side of Jey that was just that we're not used to seeing, but it showed that he could go to this level. And this is what I call championship caliber level. Okay. Because it showed, like, one of the things, just to take a quick detour, one of the things that always bothered me about Kofi Kingston's run as champion is the fact that some of the seriousness of him as champion was kind of lost on me, because he was still coming out as the world champion, skipping down to the ring, clapping and throwing out bootios and things of that nature. And don't get me wrong, okay, that was part of what got him there. Like, that was part of why the crowd and the fans loved him. But at the same time, I felt there needed to be this step that you take when you become the world champion, when the weight of the company is resting on your shoulders. There has to be this element of seriousness there, because we're talking about the world heavyweight champion. And that was always kind of missing for me there with Kofi. And it's probably why he had a squash match with Brock Lesnar and lost the belt in literally 8 seconds or something like that. And with Jey Uso and Gunther, and this feel that we have, this feel that Jey Uso is getting ready to kind of take that next step and start to have to carry the weight of the WWE universe and the fandom on his shoulders. When the fans are paying their hard-earned money to see their favorite superstars, and maybe Yeet has kind of worn off. We want to see that there's levels, that there's layers, that there's more to our champion than just a hype man. And I felt like this week Jey Uso delivered on that for me, and probably for many other fans out there that probably think very similar to me, because this seriousness, this feeling of just I have to be a different type of person to do what it takes to beat this man, the Ring General, in the middle of that squared circle for the WWE Championship title. I absolutely loved it. I loved the step in the right direction, in my opinion, of Jey Uso. I love the fact that he showed that he can not only be dynamic in his energy levels and things of that nature, but when push come to shove and it's about business, he can stand on business. So my hat's off to Jey Uso. I just got that much more excited, just that little bit more excited about this WrestleMania match between Gunther and Jey Uso, because now I want to see Jey Uso go over, win the belt, and I want to see his reign and this new and improved Jey Uso as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, because he just absolutely deserves it. He's put in the work. He's shown you that there's more to him, and we can still grow with Jey, and that's going to be the fun part. Watching his journey, growing with Jey through his journey as the new champion. Should this come to fruition, should he take down the Ring General at WrestleMania, it's shaping up, guys. It really is. It's shaping up to be an awesome WrestleMania. We got some great matches ahead of us, and I'm here for it. And I want to take some time real quick to thank each and every last one of you who have just shown us so much support over the last month or two of us, going hard in the paint here on the Exclusive Nights podcast, with our shows, those who are coming in, commenting, subscribing, all of that. We appreciate you. We are very grateful for you, because, it's funny because we're just a group of friends, of guys that just kind of loved wrestling and talked about, hey, we should do a podcast. We should share some of our conversation, our ideas, our thoughts, with the world, with the world, with the fandom of wrestling, of professional wrestling. And, we've been doing that, and we've received a very welcoming, warm reception. And so we really appreciate that. But without further ado, I still want to just remind everyone that you can catch us on Facebook. You can check us out on YouTube. You can catch us on Instagram, X, as well as TikTok. That's right. We're on TikTok as well. So please subscribe, check us out on those social media platforms. We appreciate you. And it continues. Listen, I can't forget. How can I forget? Check us out. We're going to be live again this weekend, Sunday. It's looking like the Exclusive Nights podcast. We're going to go ahead and review this week of wrestling, because there was just so much that took place. There was so much that happened between Monday Night Raw and, by the way, I haven't forgot about you, Shawn Michaels. You cooking it up down there in NXT. Over Femi the Ruler. Woo. This was a big week for NXT, a big week for Oba. And I just, I appreciate, good storytelling, good wrestling. And we've been getting that. So it's exciting knowing that WrestleMania is right around the corner. It's almost here. So join us this weekend, Sunday. We're going to be talking more about Raw. We're going to talk about NXT. We're going to talk about SmackDown, because profits are up. So why not? So thank you again for joining me here today in the HeartBreak Hotel, where the journey continues to be the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, and to make sure your nights will never be the same.